an identity position does not exist as one position, but there's also not one teacher identity. So take first the example of the identity. A teacher has not only the position of a teacher, but also as a father, as a mother, as a child of his father, etc., as a colleague. So necessarily one position implies the existence of other positions. So there's always a kind of mixture, combination, pattern of positions. When we focus to teacher identity, it's the same. I think the teacher who considers himself as having only one position is not the best teacher. A much better teacher is the teacher who has at least two positions, I as teacher and I as pupil. So when you would be the pupil, then in order to convey something from myself to you, and in order to create to stimulate your creativity, then it's necessary that I have the position of teacher and I have in myself the position of a pupil which I could be. So I'm then making an internal movement. What do I want to say? What do I want to stimulate? And how would the pupil react? And is the pupil in myself, is he or she addressable? Can he or she comprehend what I want to say, what I want to evoke in him or her? So there is an internal dynamic process which is highly connected with the external interaction between you as a pupil and me as a teacher. You could even say that the pupil has the position of the pupil, but also needs some idea what the teacher will say. So it's also the reversed. There is a teacher position in the pupil. So he develops empathy to the teacher and takes the position of the teacher in order to comprehend him fully. So actually these are dialogical processes within the teacher, within the student, and between student and teacher. So actually I see teacher identity as a dynamic. It's very dynamic, it's not static, because it's a developmental process. The dynamic multiplicity of I positions in the teacher and in the student. Well, I'm working now for more than 25 years on the dialogical self theory with a number of colleagues internationally. And when you see it, it's all presented on the internet under the heading Dialogical Self. We have listed a whole series of methods which can be used to apply to identity and to teacher identity. I would just select one method in which I was involved in the past, in which I was self-inventing this method, and it's called PPR method, which is Personal Position Repertoire Methods. Suppose you are a person, individual, I give you a list of possible positions, like I as an optimist, I as a pessimist, I as a dreamer, I as a fighter, I as a doom thinker, so a series of positive and negative positions. And then I ask you, can you select those positions which apply to you, which are relevant for you, both positive ones and negative ones. The same I do with so-called external positions. This is an important point because the self, in agreement with William James, the self is extended. So the person is extended to his body, to his wife, husband, children, friends, etc. So the friends, husband, the body, belong to the self in the extended notion of the term. So we ask the question, here you have a series of what we call external, extended positions, like my friends, my wife, my house even, nature around me. And then again the question, which of these positions are relevant for you? And if you want, you can add positions in your own words. And then the next point is that we want to link the internal and the external positions. For example, I as a student, I'm linked as an internal position. I as a student, I'm linked with my teacher as an external position. I as a son, I'm linked to my father as an external position. I as a lover, I'm linked to my girlfriend as an external. So there are a number of relevant links between internal, external or extended positions. And then it's even possible that different positions respond to each other. Take the example of a person, a woman who is the mother of a few children, but at the same time she has a job at the university. These are two important positions, mother and teacher, and then she feels a certain degree of conflict because you give more time to the job, less time to the children, or reversed. So it's a conflict. And then just because there is a discrepancy or a conflict, this evokes a dialogue. So the internal dialogue is stimulated when you are confronted with a difficult task or with a problem. So in this case, the person is conversing, is dialoguing with him or herself, and then finally this can result in some kind of solution or adaptation. So this method starts with selection of internal positions, external positions, the links between internal and external, and finally the dialogue between the different positions. Within the internal ones, this is the example of mother and teacher, or within the external dialogues, or between the internal and the external dialogues. So this is the PPR method. In my experience, the first important thing is that people should have knowledge about their different I positions. So that's already an important step, because many people, well, they don't think about that. They just act in a particular situation. So the position is implicit. So they become angry or they become helpful, but they do not reflect that they have a helpful but also an angry position. And how are they related? They don't know. They just do that. So first of all, I think awareness of different positions, and particularly the diversity of positions. Yeah, I just give you one example because it comes up now, thinking about different experiences. My first subject on the Dialogical Self, that's 25 years ago or so, it was a woman of about 25 years of a college level, and I asked her the following question: do you have two different sides of your personality? Two different sides. With the one side more dominant than the other side. And she said, I know. I have a very open side. She was a very lovely person. She was very open and friendly, and you feel immediately at home with her, as if you know her for 10 years. So that was her open side. She, like my mother, she said, I'm open like my mother, friend of everybody. However, she said, I have also a more hidden, closed side. So there is a part of mine, it's not accessible for anybody. I have it in my internal space and I keep it hidden. And moreover, it's uncertain, it's dark, it's unknown. And I come to you, she said, to investigate my hidden, closed side. So what we did an investigation. So I asked her to talk about her past, present and future from her open position, and later about her past, present and future from the perspective of her closed position. That was quite impressive what happened. When this happened and we followed her over time, Then the open position, which was very positive, went down, became less dominant and even less meaningful. While the closed position, which was initially very low, it became more dominant and even more meaningful. That's quite impressive. A negative position, which becomes more meaningful in the course of time. And the answer was, when I asked her, could you explain this to me? The answer was very clear. I want to have both sides. Even my closed side, although it is negative, is very important for me. So that I learned from that people, many people, they like to be more a whole, a totality, rather than only having positive feelings. So wholeness is more important than happiness, at least for some people. First of all, dynamic. It's not something static, so dynamic. The second word is multiplicity. So it's not a predefined unity, it's multiplicity. And the third word is I position.